What's going on, everybody? I'm Terrence, and this is Bank Shipping. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday morning, and like I always say, if you ain't up, go ahead, get up, start that grind. It is ready. You know, we're starting a new week, ready to hit the road. We are in Lynchburg, Virginia. We just dropped off a customer load that I picked up on Friday. That little load of metal. They have like a huge meeting, I guess, every Monday. So they wanted me in here early so that I could get in, get out, so I wouldn't be blocking the parking lot and everything. So we got unloaded, got my tarps rolled up, got my straps and everything put away. I'm just waiting for a car and truck to get out of the way so that I can actually make the turn to get out of here, because it was pretty tight. So after they move the cars and everything, we'll get out of here. We're going to head down to Christiansburg. It's about a 50-mile deadhead or so south, and we're going to pick up a load of lumber and take that back. Probably, I think it's like 20 minutes away from home base. So I'll see y'all when I get down to the pickup in Christiansburg. Well, I was going to film the unload, but that was before Mother Nature had other plans. Was rolling up my straps, and I saw the storm was coming, so I was trying to hurry up. And a big old bolt of lightning came down, and I told myself, yep, I ain't finna be out in this. So hurry up and put my straps away, and the skies opened up. And it's been like it the whole trip back home. So I wasn't going to stand outside in the rain and film the unload, or even set my GoPro out there in a torrential downpour just to get the unload. So sorry. Maybe we'll get the unload or load tomorrow. But we got that load dropped off, the load of lumber, and I'm actually empty. I think this is the first time since I've had this setup that I've came back to the yard empty. I could be wrong, but I don't really remember coming back to the yard without a load already on from, you know, my customer of insulation. But I pushed some of those loads back later on in the week so I could run, because I wasn't sure if I could get that lumber load dropped off. So I didn't want to schedule anything to be picked up this afternoon, because if I couldn't get it dropped off, then I wouldn't be able to pick up from my customer. Puts a bad taste in their mouth, or I, you know, go back on, you know, lie on my word or whatever. So in the sake of safety, you know, I told them, hey, let me make sure I can get this load dropped off. But it worked out fine, because one of the loads that I got has an appointment anyway, so they couldn't get it in until Thursday. So it worked out good. So I came back empty. We are going to go to Baltimore tomorrow morning and run one of those containers. And then hopefully, if the rain goes away, I can get my truck washed, because this thing is filthy. And it's even more filthy now that it rained. So hopefully I can run that container, get my truck washed, and then get back up here to the customer and pick up for Wednesday. So yeah, we're pretty much booked for the rest of the week. Hoping that we don't have any more rain for the rest of the week, at least while I'm driving. I don't mind the rain. I just don't like the rain when I'm driving, just because I don't like other people when they're driving in the rain. Because a lot of people, if you've ever driven in Northern Virginia, the DC, you know, Maryland, that whole DMV area, if you've ever driven in that area, or on 81, so 95, 66, 81, that whole little area right there, if you've ever driven there on that stretch of any of those interstates, you know what I'm talking about. It's like soon as a raindrop hits the road, nobody knows what they're doing. There'll be accidents everywhere. You know, people are going way slower than what they need to be. Now I understand if you don't feel safe, you know, you can go your own speed and stuff like that. But sometimes it just makes it a lot more of a headache and a lot more dangerous when you have some people who go too slow, and then you have people who are going too fast. And that's just a recipe for disaster. And that's normally what you get. And then the other reason why I don't like driving in the rain is because my truck is an 86, and I have not done a conversion for the windshield wipers yet. So, you know, if I am driving in the rain, I hit this little knob right here, and that works the wiper. Air actuated wiper. You see how loud it is? Yeah, my radio don't even get loud enough to drown that out. So, you know, that was what, 5 seconds of it? Imagine having to drive all day with that just going and going and going. You know, so they work. It's just very annoying. And also in a jam, I would rather not have to choose between my windshield wipers and brakes. You know, if you have trouble with, you know, your air system or something like that. So in the future, I will be converting those over to electric. Now, it's not cheap, but it's well worth it. And it's about a day project. Some people say they did it in a couple hours. But knowing my projects, when I go to do something, it never goes the way it's supposed to. So, you know, a 2-hour job will probably turn into 50 trips to the store, a couple of thrown tools, and, you know, 8 hours later, and then I'll have it done. I don't really understand why it works like that. I mean, I'm pretty mechanically inclined, but it just seems to never go my way when I say that it's going to be, oh, you know, hey, that's going to be a 2-hour job, and then it takes me longer. So I've learned I don't even say how long it's going to be, you know, to do whatever I'm doing. I just do it. And I learned that it kind of works. I kind of jinx myself when I say, oh, it'll only be 30 minutes, you know. Then that turns into a 2-hour job. So anyway, we are going to go ahead, shut her down for today, head to the house, and I'll see y'all in the morning. Good morning. We are in Baltimore, well, Dundalk actually, here to pick up one of these containers. Got here about maybe 5 after 8, something like that. They opened up at 8:30. There was a couple trucks already ahead of me. I thought I was ahead of the game, but I guess not. You know, this place has like 400 containers that, you know, need to be delivered to this one site. So they're moving a lot at one time. So it was pretty busy this morning. Been waiting for about an hour to get loaded, but things are starting to move now. A lot of hot shots. You know, there's 3 hot shots in front of me. Looks like all I can see is 2. There's 2 more hot shots behind me. All running 40 foot. Some of them got dovetails, some of them flat decks, some of them got actually one of them's got a tilt. It's actually a Diamond C trailer too. Shouts out to Diamond C. Real nice trailer. So we're going to go ahead, get out, get our straps and chains and everything already pre-staged, so that way when they drop the container on the deck, we can just pull up, chain and strap, and get on out of here. Because most time, by the time you leave, you hit a little bit of rush hour traffic on the beltway around DC. So time is of the essence. We're gonna drop this off, and then we're gonna go back to Kingspan and get loaded for in the morning. So I'll see y'all in a little bit. So the container is dropped off, easy load, easy unload. Came back up the road to the customer, had to wait a little bit. Y'all know how it goes there, but that's all right. We're loaded. This goes to Columbia, Maryland in the morning. So we are back at the yard, ready to shut down for the day. Truck is looking real dirty. Can't stand it. I need to get to a truck wash sometime this week. I wanted to do it last week, but didn't get the chance. And then it's been raining the past couple of days, on and off, thunderstorms, all that stuff. So I just haven't washed it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about how to run a successful hotshot company. Now I say hotshot company because I started out as a hotshot. I'm still new in the semi, as far as it being part of my fleet. But you always hear or see on social media, YouTube, other YouTubers and stuff like that, they always talk about, you know, I say it all the time, they talk about money, how to start up a hotshot company. They talk about those things, how to start it up and how much money you can make. That's all they talk about. But they don't tell you how to run a successful company. So they don't tell you, you know, that it's probably a wise idea to maybe go and take an online business 101 class or take an accounting class, things like that. I'm not saying you have to do it, but it's a good idea. If you don't have no business knowledge, it's a good idea to get some business knowledge, get some accounting knowledge, because that is what's going to make sure that you have a successful company. Now, I'm talking about in trucking, but this applies to any business that's out there. One of the biggest things that you can do to run a successful hotshot or just regular trucking company is have a solid business plan. Number one rule. That's what I think the number one rule is. Have a solid business plan, because it don't matter how much money you make. You can make all the money you want, but if you don't have a solid business plan where you are planning where that money goes, it don't matter. You can find yourself in a downhill slide because you didn't have a solid business plan, even though you was making money. So business plans, I think, a solid business plan, that goes along with your maintenance plan. All that stuff is part of your business plan. So having a solid business plan is the number one thing that you need to have to run a successful hotshot trucking company, or whether you're in a semi. And it's kind of ironic because I had plans on doing this video or talking about this, and I was sitting there waiting to get the container unloaded, and I was scrolling YouTube and I see this video pop up from Hotshot Benny. I don't know how many of you guys that watch me watch Hotshot Benny, but he's got some pretty good content over there. But he's got a video that he is talking about Toe Piglet. Now, I don't know how many of you guys watch Toe Piglet. So I think the title is something along the lines of Class A CDL versus non CDL. But anyway, at the beginning of the video, they have a snippet of Toe Piglet talking about getting out of California for the non CDL guys. I don't know, I didn't watch Toe Piglet's video, so I don't know if what he was talking about as far as that. But the snippet that they have on the video is, I guess somebody asked him about getting out of California, and he said something that really kind of bothered me, but to each his own. He said, half the freight, half the rate is what he preaches. That's what he said. So he said he would take a load that's half his trailer, half his weight, for $1 a mile, and then find another parcel for 80 cents a mile, and that's $1.80 getting out of California. So, first of all, you guys know that I don't like partials. The reason I don't like partials is because a lot of people get the definition of partial twisted. A partial has nothing to do with the size of the load. I don't care what anybody tells you. What I'm speaking, what I think a partial is, has nothing to do with the size of the load. And let me tell you why I think this. Because a partial can be 10 feet long and 1,000 pounds. So that don't take up your whole trailer. It don't take up all your weight. So some people would say that's a partial. Okay? But if that load has to pick up at 8 a.m. and deliver at 3 p.m. or before, that's not a partial. That's an expedited load. If it's got to deliver same day or next day, that's not a partial. And I'm not taking a partial rate. It's that simple. A partial is something that, yes, it is smaller than a full truckload. That is a partial. But if it has to deliver the same day or next day, that's not a partial. Okay? A partial is something that gives you time to build a load around it going to the same place. If it's got strict delivery dates on it within a couple of days, that's not a partial. Now, if it's picks up Monday and has to deliver by Friday, and you got plenty of time to build your loads up, to go around somewhere close to where that's going or in between or whatever, then cool. You can run that as a partial. But notice, I didn't say nothing about partial rates. Ain't no partial rates over here. A load is a load. And I be damned if I take anything for $1 a mile. Ain't nothing sitting on this trailer or even my Hotshot trailer, my 40-foot gooseneck. Ain't nothing ever set on that for $1 a mile. Ain't nothing ever set on that for less than $2.50. And while I'm on that, they talk about, I want to say it's Benny's dad. He's pretty knowledgeable too, but he talks about $2 a mile. And you guys know that I get sick of the $2 a mile story. $2 a mile, $2 a mile. Well, it's $2 a mile. I don't care that it's $2 a mile. I'll tell brokers every day that call me and ask me if I can run a load. I don't care if it's $2 a mile. The reason I don't care it's $2 a mile is because $2 a mile was a good rate 30 years ago. How much has equipment went up? How much has fuel gone up? How much has tolls gone up? How much has fees and other things like drugs and alcohol consortiums and clearinghouses and stuff like that has gone up? Or things that wasn't even there back in the 30, 40 years ago. There's more money coming out. So why would I still take the same rate from 30 years ago? So let's get off that $2 a mile stuff, okay? Don't sell yourself short. You should be trying to get the best rate that you possibly can. Especially right now, where people are trying to get a lot of stuff moving. There's not enough trucks to move it. $3, $4 a mile. Shoot for that. Start high, work yourself up. But all that goes back to the business plan. You got to have that stuff in your business plan of what you can run for. How much it takes your truck to operate. By mile, how much does it take you to operate your truck? And now you can go above that, and that's your profit after operating the truck, paying fuel, tolls, all that stuff. All that goes in your business plan. Now, let's get to the other part where Benny was talking. Class A CDL versus non CDL. They talk about, I've done a couple videos talking about it, and they talk about they don't know what you're doing if you don't get a Class A CDL. Now, sooner or later, there probably will be some cracking down by the federal government when they figure out that how much money they're losing by non-CDL guys being out on the road and not paying IFTA and things like that. When the state governments and the federal governments figure that out, they're probably going to crack down on it. And then also, I don't know if you guys have seen what they're trying to do, they're trying to make it harder for you to get a Class A CDL, because they're trying to make it to where you have to go to a CDL school to get a Class A CDL. No more just going to the DMV, taking the written test, and then going to take the driving test. No more of that. They're trying to get rid of that. But anyway, right now, speaking in now, it doesn't matter whether you have a Class A CDL or your non-CDL. And I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't matter. The business plan. Your business plan is why having a CDL versus non-CDL does not matter. Because it don't matter what you have. If you don't have a solid business plan, you ain't gonna succeed. It's gonna be very hard if you don't have a solid business plan. And the reason I say that is because, let me give you an example. So having a Class A CDL is better than being non-CDL, according to them. Okay, but if you have a business plan and you're starting up a Hotshot Company and you're going to be non-CDL, but you have a customer that's dedicated, that has light loads, that's going to pay you to take their load from their place to wherever their customer is, and then pay you coming back, say it's a double-way trip. Now, I understand this may be a unicorn, but it does happen. I mean, fuel tankers, guys that are driving tracking trailers with fuel tankers. Now, I know this isn't non-CDL, but guys that are driving fuel tankers when tracking trailers, a lot of times the loads that they're running, they're getting paid both ways. It's not the same coming back empty, but so that they have that product for that customer pays a round trip. So it does happen. Okay, there are companies out here that pay round trip to move their product to make sure that that truck is going to come back to get the next product. Okay, so if you have that, or you found that, and their loads are, let's say, 7,000-8,000 pounds, and they're paying you $4 a mile going out and $1.50 coming back empty. Okay, can you make money like that? You sure can, with no CDL. But you got it in your business plan that that's how you're going to run it. So that's why I say it don't matter whether you have a CDL or your non-CDL, and it don't matter how much money you make. If you don't have a solid business plan, it ain't gonna work. You might fake the funk for a while because you're making money, but all it takes is one big thing to come into play that can shut you down, that can close your business. One big thing like COVID. I mean, we just got over COVID. That is something that probably nobody had in their business plan. Nobody probably had it in their business plan what would happen if the country shut down for a year or longer. Some businesses failed, some was able to survive. But I can guarantee you, I went back and rewrote my business plan. I did. I went back and rewrote my business plan to account for if another COVID happens. It's things like that you got to think about. All that stuff goes in your business plan. And if you don't have one and you're in this business, I suggest you go out and write one. Go out, sit down, put everything in your business plan. How you're going to account for everything. And that goes for expanding, buying more equipment, replacing old equipment, all that stuff. Write it down. Have a plan. If you're thinking about getting into this business, whether it's with a Hotshot or you're going to get a semi, before you jump into this business, have a business plan. And I'm not talking about a mental plan. I'm not talking about, oh, hey, I'm going to go do what they talk about as far as how to start a hotshot business. I got to go get my insurance. I got to get my authority. I got to get my BOC3. If I have a CDL, I got to be enrolled in a drug and alcohol consortium. Now I have to be in the drug clearinghouse. I got to run queries on all my drivers once a year. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm not talking about how to start it up. I'm talking about once you get started up. That's at a little paragraph at the beginning of the things you need to start your business. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the things that is going to keep your business running, and running at full force, and running successfully. Now, there's a whole lot of other stuff that goes into running a successful trucking company. You know, keeping your equipment not up to date, but on par. That's an 86. That ain't up to date, but it's on par. Okay, it runs great. It's mechanically sound. Trailer, good to go. Keeping your equipment mechanically sound, ready to go. That's one thing to stay successful in this business. Keeping your word. When I say keeping your word, I'm talking about being to your pickups on time, being to your drop-offs on time. Being professional, because after all, I don't care if you have a Class A CDL or your non CDL. If you are on the interstate and you are moving freight, you're a professional driver. I don't care what they say. You do that as a living. That is your profession. You are a professional driver. I don't need something in my wallet to tell me that I'm a professional driver. This is what I do for a living, so that makes me a professional. Act like it. Dress the part. I'm not saying you got to be in a suit and tie. I mean, half the time I'm in the same shirt and it's dirty by 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I wash them and half the time they still look dirty. Y'all probably like, man, does this dude ever change his shirt? Yeah, I do. They just grease stained and I don't have enough. I got to get some more. But being professional, looking the part. You get out at an equipment rental place, don't hop out in flip-flops to pick up a skid steer. Things like that. All that stuff goes a long way. But at the end of the day, having a solid business plan is the only thing that is going to help you be successful. It is a must. All that other stuff, that is also something that is going to help along the way. But having a solid business plan is the start to having a successful business. A lot of times when you want to get a loan, you got to have a business plan. The reason they make you have a business plan to get a loan is because they want to see how successful you're going to be. They want to see how much of a liability are you going to be. If your business plan is crap, they're going to think that you ain't going to be very successful. So then how you going to pay the money back? And then you ain't going to get the loan. They're going to decline it. That's why. So there's a reason for it. Have yourself a business plan. Okay? Regardless of what Toe Piglet say, regardless of what Benny and his pop say, how to start a hotshot trucking company, all that stuff, how much money you can make. I made $15,000 this week. I don't care. It starts with a solid business plan. That's all it is to it. Having that business plan is going to make you go a long way. It is going to help you be successful in this business. And then that is going to help you produce the most money that you possibly can with what you have and put it in the right spots so that you don't get in a tight spot. So, the Lord works in mysterious ways. I was going to talk about it anyway, and it just fit right into it. So I figured, hey, I might as well throw it out there. So we're going to hit it. Truck's already shut down. I'm about to hop in this Charger, and we're going to go home. I'll catch y'all later. As always, stay prayed up, grind hard, and stay humble.